Guys, how you doing? It's the Cheese, it's Ashton here. I'm sorry for the slowdown in videos. The editor's moving, and I have been dog tired with fucking services going on. The work's been super busy. Starting to work like 05 in the morning, and some days not getting out till like 9 p.m. It's tiring. But anyways, this episode is a little bit different. I woke up this morning. I'm like, huh? What if what if I wanted to do a video on my characters, right? To show you guys the range of the characters I have, right? So I put that in the Discord, which you can join, link in the description. And I threw that idea out there, and one of the individuals on there, thank you, Luna, said, "Hey, that's a really cool idea. I would like it if you did that." Awesome. So guess what? That's what we're doing. We're gonna go in order of oldest character to newest character. Okay? Editing Ash here. Before I throw this together, I just realized I forgot to point out a couple things. As you can see on here, while I do have them sorted, there is an other category. So just to explain that, for Xenia there, she is a futanari or hermaphrodite, whichever term you know, meaning that canonically she has both male and female reproductive organs. However, she is mostly female. So thinks female, talks female, sounds female, looks female, etc., etc. The only difference is that she does have a male genitalia. Carrion, on the other hand, has nothing. He was never mortal. He is, like I said, Lucifer, one of the oldest demons, one of the oldest lords of hell. So he has no reproductive organs. He just sounds and chooses to take on the appearance of a male character. Okay, cool. Here we go. First up, we have Kriv, the first character I ever made when I was in high school. I believe I was a sophomore at the time. And to give you an idea of how long ago that was 2016. I was a sophomore in 2016, I'm pretty sure. So that's a little bit ago now. Right, so Kriv, I don't really remember a whole lot about him originally. All I remember is that, at one point I had him as like the stepson for the cheese, and I actually had a background story. But it didn't really stick. Honestly, he wasn't a character that was around very long, but he is a character that I had. You can probably tell it's older given the fact that this was a paper drawing, right? Well, it wasn't a drawing, but it was a paper reference sheet. So I didn't really have much access to computers back then, right? But he was supposed to be probably like, I think it was supposed to be like around 1920, super energetic and playful, very kind, right? Kind of like how I was when I was young. Now times have changed. But then going on over to our cheese, right? Ashton. Everybody loves Ashton, right? If you're here, you love Ash. No fucking questions about that, right? Now he has a full background, and he is, he's old. He's old. So kind of like a brief background of Ash, right? Well, brief. I'm gonna give you as quick as a rundown as I can, because I have literally typed out his lore, like his background, and it is 3 pages long. Because he was born on November 25th, 1468, per his lore. Meaning, as of November this year, he will be 556 years old. That is an old cheese. Now, initially, he was mortal. He, lived and died just like everybody else. Right? And he was born on the planet Natal, right? Which, if you're familiar with the VS universe, that's the planet that the circles come from, right? So kept that part canonical. He was born there. He grew up there with his mother and father on a farm. However, um, this is where it gets into my lore and not so much like the actual VS lore. There was terrible civil strife that occurred, and food became very uncommon and was sought after, right? So people were pillaging and killing to try to take their resources, like doing what they have to do to survive. And Ash, having grown up on a farm, his parents had the crops, had the food, so they had stormed his farm in the middle of the night, killed both his parents, and he managed to get away. Now, yes, he has a tragic backstory, but not all my characters have a tragic backstory. This Ash is actually the second character I've ever made, and he's also been my main character, despite having several characters. As those of you who know me know that I love designing characters and making background stories. Now, anyways, so the cheese gets away, and he ends up seeking shelter in rubble. Now he's there for a little bit before a group of survivors or refugees, or whatever you really want to call it, found him. Right, they found him. They took him in. They cared for him, and they managed to commandeer a shuttle and get off world to England. Right, they landed here on Earth, and they landed in medieval England. Approximately, I think it was 1480-ish. No, 14. It was 1478. It was either 1478, 1479. I think it was 78. No, 79. He landed in England 1479. He was 10 years old. And, you know, his little group of survivors landed in an isolated patch, and they decided, hey, let's start farming, right? Because that's what they knew. You know, Ash learned a little bit of farming from his father, and he helped them as much as he could, and they helped teach him more farming as well. All the time, you know, having some of those survivors that had gone with him, having been Hearst in martial arts, a couple of those that were Tal soldiers, they taught him how to fight. You know, they trained him. So, as he got older, you know, he took into the mercenary business, and he and a couple of the circles he was with said, "Hey, let's be mercs. Let's go, you know, try to make some money, right?" So they worked with the people of England, although the people of England didn't really like them. Right? They worked with them. They did numerous jobs for them. You know, Ash kind of got a really well-known reputation. You know, his whole group did. But where he becomes immortal is when he took a contract to go and clear out a group of what he was told was ruffians, right? Like bandits from a nearby nearby village, right? Well, what the lord of the time didn't tell him is that it wasn't a group of bandits. It was actually a small army. So Ash and his group went there, severely underprepared, and they all got murdered. All of them. Ash too. So he's technically undead. Think about that. Right? Because he ended up striking a deal with the Lord of Hell. And at this time, I cannot recall the name. Like an editing me will have to throw that in there. But with that Lord, he struck the deal. And to be able to strike down his foes and take vengeance on his friends and his family without the fear of death. Meaning, which that he's now immortal. Well, he did so. He struck down the entire army, and he killed the Lord that sent him on that mission. He killed him by burning him alive in his own house. Ain't that something? From there, it's a long period of Ash just kind of picking up odd jobs, you know, coming to America, this and that. In the lore, right, for Ash, he's the last Circle on Earth. Everybody else had died, right? Not necessarily in that battle. You know, those that weren't with him, and those that were mercenaries, ended up dying from disease or a rivaling group or faction. Because, like I said, the English people didn't really like them when they were there, right? So they ended up all dying off. So Ash over time did learn how to use his demonic powers that he ended up gaining. So it went from like constantly losing control to, hey, this is how I use this, right? So now I can control it. Now, there's a lot to him, right? Like I said, it's 554 years, so I'm gonna kind of skip a large section here. Get, as in, like, we're gonna go from the 1400s to present day, because I'm not about to sit through the whole thing. If you ever want to know more about Ash, excuse me, join the Discord and ask me there, and I have a PDF document I can send you. Now, present day Ash is the owner of a contracting company, an international private military company, right? Private military contractor. He's a PMC. And he has a team. Most of the individuals on this list are part of that team, right? So he's well known throughout the world. He's an international contractor. And while he is not friends with some countries, like for example Iraq, Afghanistan, and Turkey, are three countries that Ash is not aligned with. As a matter of fact, per his story, the country of Turkey has sent several squads and made several attempts to take Ash out. But of course, he can't die, so they were all unsuccessful. Ash does have a demon form, as I call it. As y'all see the outros, and I'll show you again. He has the demon form, and he doesn't often take on the form anymore. He used to a lot. He used to ravage whole towns and cities, burn them to the ground, just doing horrible shit that I can't say on YouTube because I'll probably get a strike or a ban. He was not a good person, but over time he he kind of realized what he was doing. Okay, it really struck during his service in World War II, where he saw Auschwitz, he saw all the concentration camps, he saw what they were doing, and he realized that he was doing the same thing to people, if not worse. And he changed his ways. And while he is still very militaristic and will not hesitate to fucking murder you in a heartbeat, he's not as bad as he used to be. He's a lot more caring now. Right? And then moving on to the next character, we have Carrion. Now, Carrion is, you can see, is a Scully, right? But he's not a mortal Scully either. He's also demonic. Okay, I only have two demonic characters, so don't fucking worry. Right, he's also demonic. He is Ash's current overlord. He's the current one who owns Ash's soul. He also mentored Ash into how to use his demonic powers. And not gonna lie, has manipulated Ash a couple times, but he's a Lord of Hell, one of the oldest Lords of Hell. So what do you expect? He also loves to scare newcomers to the group, to the PMC group. Right? So he loves fucking with people. Right? He loves scaring people. He can shapeshift. He can take on any form he wants. Correction, he can take on any animate form he wants. I have to specify that because last time I said you can take on any form you want, people thought that he would take on the form of like a jacket or something. No, it has to be an animate object. So, Wendigo, another person, an animal, stuff like that, right? So he can be anywhere and everywhere, and you would not even know. All right, but he is, in like I said, per my lore, one of the oldest lords of hell, only being older and more powerful by Lucifer. And then going on from Carrion is, as you can see in this picture with Ash here, unfortunately it's the only picture I have with him, but it's Drac. He is a German dragon. So I don't mean German as in like the design. I mean German as in like he was born and raised in modern day Germany. So, but more accurately, he's Prussian. He's older than Ash by I think about a century. He's about a century older than Ash. They have gone all the way back to the Roman Empire. being a dragon, he lives a very long time. He's not immortal. He's just a dragon. He gets very, very old. Right? He also, like Ash, has a very long record, as you can probably figure out. Having served as a military following his father's footsteps from the Great Roman Empire all the way through modern day, where he still serves on Ash's team as a PMC. Now, having said that, he's German, Prussian, Roman, all that, I'm sure you can deduce he was not always with what history would deem today as the good guys, right? He served with Prussia and Germany all the way through to the Cold War, meaning, yes, he was Wehrmacht. More accurately, he was a. How do you say it? Fucking. I forget exactly how you say it, but it's the rank of colonel with the SS during World War II. He was one of the individuals in charge of the concentration camps. Now, however, despite that, Drac did not condone the actions of the concentration camps. If anything, he actually helped people escape them slowly. And when Ash found this out, he asked him about it. He told Ash that while he's a proud patriot and loves his country, he did not support genocide to the scale of which the Third Reich was implementing. So Ash had fought for his innocence and his freedom until, as you can probably tell this picture, if you're familiar with camouflage, he served with the United States Marine Corps during the Gulf Wars. Right? And also another little tidbit, if you notice, Ashton there has his 2 stars for, a major general. Because yes, when Ash was served in the military, having served in the U.S. military from the start of the Revolutionary War, he's gotten his ranks pretty high. Granted, he could very well be a 4, even a 5-star general. He just never pursued it. Also, if you don't know, that patch on Ash's arm in this picture is the 40th Infantry Division. It was the first unit I was assigned to with the U.S. Army. Alright, and then going on is Alice. Alice Coyote. Coyote. It's pronounced coyote, but like coyote, because she is a russet coyote. But I have it spelled Cheyyote, which I'll have on the screen here. Now, I know it's a very seductive pose she's in. It's the only one I have of her. Yeah, I don't know. Go figure. But she is much younger. She is 25. And she is a intelligence analyst for Ash. She got through college, and she went through college for both analytics and engineering, robotic engineering, robotic mechanical engineering, a little bit of electrical engineering. She specializes in mechanical engineering, but she is kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to engineering, mechanical, robotic, and electrical. But like I said, she's also an intelligence analyst. She served with the CIA for a good long time before joining Ash. She actually was serving under Ash with the military. Not like directly as a soldier, but attached to. And Ash, having grown a liking to her, when he left the military, invited her to join his team with the PMCs, as his personal intelligence analyst. All right, she is very gifted. She's very intelligent. She's honestly, not gonna lie, the most intelligent of my characters. Yes, Ash is old. He is intelligent, but when it comes to Alice, there's not many people that have it over her. All right, and then going from Alice, so these are my more recent characters. Start with Senya. I recognize that her name is actually misspelled on there because I had put it that way to help people with pronunciation, but it's actually not how her name is spelled. Assuming you can even see that. It's not an X, it's a Kseniya. and she is Ukrainian. Now, the funny part about this, I actually developed this character before the Ukrainian and Russian war even started. I actually have another character that's Russian, but I don't have a ref sheet for him, so he's not starring this episode. But he's an old Soviet bear. Um, yeah, so Senya here is 23, a little bit younger than Alice, but she is more. I kind of wanted to base her around kind of like the old school punkers. So kind of like 80s, 90s punk, leather jackets, some spike jewelry, switchblades, grease back hair, kind of like that kind of stuff. So as you can see with her spike jacket there, she is a motorcyclist. She's a biker, and she's 100% a punk. Like, she has a take no shit attitude. She does not fucking care. Oh, she cares about some things, not everything. But you better bet if you scratch her bike, you're gonna get fucking stabbed. However, despite all that, once you, for those who initially meet her, she is aggressive as fuck. She will not, she doesn't like anybody new. So when you meet her, she will be cold hearted. But if you kind of force yourself around her a little bit, I don't mean sexually force yourself on her, you will die. But if you kind of just hang around with her a bit, or you end up working with her, as what ended up happening with a lot of the team, then she'll kind of warm up to you. She'll be a lot nicer. So, what is so? In case you don't know, all of my characters have a relation to Ash. In case you couldn't figure that out by now, because Ash is my main character. He's literally the center of my universe, right? So, what's her relation to Ash? Well, her relation to Ash is that she was what he dubbed part of the Rogue Squad. Right? It was a team of people from prisons, right? So like gangsters, drug dealers, murderers, shit like that, right? And he brought them into service, well, temporarily. Right? He brought them on what he deemed was a suicide mission to go raid an entire military base in the Middle East. And she was one of the individuals that he pulled. Now, the deal was that if you survived, which about half of their team did, you can either A, take your freedom and leave, or B, you can join his team and make a rather successful life. Right? Because he is wealthy and his contracts are not small contracts. Well, she's one of the individuals that took up his offer to join his team. So she is his breacher. Okay, she's the breacher. She will, breach the door, kick it in, shotguns out, knives up. She's the martial art hand-to-hand combat specialist on his team, right? Speaking of team roles, since Alice is the analyst, Senya is the breacher, Drac was actually the machine gunner, and he loves his 240. Now, going on to Gideon. Gideon is a Israeli jackal, actually. If you look back here, he's a silverback jackal. And he's 21 years old, as you can see on here. And like I said, he's a part of the Israeli military, or was anyways. He also became part of that rogue squad after disobeying orders to clear a church that was filled with women and children. He disobeyed orders. They threw him in prison for the rest of his life until, Ash was going around pulling dossiers and found him. And he, too, took up his offer to join his squad after that mission. Gideon here is he's pretty much just a rifleman. Right? He's not much of a breacher. He's not a heavy weapon specialist. He's not much of a sniper. He just is. He's your regular grunt. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Honestly, I believe that he is probably the youngest of the group. Right? And then going on to Ashley. Ashley is a very new addition. to the team. Not the newest. There's one more after Ashley, but she is Ashton's sister. Now, I have not reworked Ashton's lore, so she is non-canonically his sister. They're like, oh well, how are you gonna make his sister but not make her canonical? Honestly, she kind of was an accident. I know, funny, but pretty much one day I was lying in my bed. I was like, huh, I wonder what Ashton would look like as a girl. And behold, Ashley was born. All right, I kind of liked how it turned out. So I was like, hey, let's make them siblings. All right, make them twin siblings. But I didn't feel like rewriting the lore. I still don't want to rewrite Ashton's lore because it's already been revised several times. I'm just gonna leave it as is. When I want her to be, she'll be his sister. But other than that, he's a lone child. She does not serve on Ashton's team. All right, this is one of the two characters I have, the three that aren't part of his PMC squad, because he refuses to let her work with him. He wants her to go do better things, so she is a lawyer. The final character, my newest addition to the group, is Caitlin. All right, so she is, as you can see, a synth. All right, physically, she is between the ages of 3 to 5 years old. Haven't quite decided on that one yet, but she has the maturity of a 30-year-old. She is the team's medic, and she is a pacifist. So she will not engage in hostilities. You can shoot at her all you want, but unless you have a large caliber, you're not really doing much because her materials are bulletproof. Go figure. But even if you did manage to damage her, she's not going to attack you. But you sure as fuck would piss off Ash, and there would not be much left of you or the building you're standing in when he's done. Alright. But her also being a synth, she has all the medical knowledge she needs to treat any injury the team sustains, and can not bring them back, but she can do whatever is necessary to keep them stable in the fight, healthy and alive. Alright. So that's it. That's the end of my character list. I do have some more characters, but they don't have ref sheets. Maybe in the future I'll come back to this list when I finally have the ref sheets, and I will let you guys know. All right. Sound good? That sounds good to me. Now, I hope y'all have a good day. I hope you have a fantastic time. And please let me know any questions you have. Preferably in the Discord. So if you can go ahead and join the Discord, you can talk to me about it there. And I will see y'all in the next one. Have some huggies and goodbye.